Welcome to another episode of the Next Left Turn. I'm your host with the most, Aaron the Cast Man. So William Byron does not finish first today, but the number 8 trademark is going to Lamar Jackson. Oh man, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started. All right, so we had a great, well, I guess not really a great race today at Darlington, but it was a pretty eventful race to say the least. So, oh boy, Denny Hamlin gets the W at the Lady in Black. It strikes again. There's never a dull moment when it comes to the Lady in Black here, Darlington Speedway. Oh man, if I told you that he only survived 2 laps, would you believe me that that's how he won? Because I thought William Byron was going to win this whole entire thing today. It was just insane. He led at least 254 laps today over at Darlington. So I really thought it was going to be Team Hendrick. I picked Chris Buescher today to win it. Josh picked Ryan Blaney, which we'll talk about a little bit later because he could have won it, but something happened. So obviously Kyle Larson had his the first caution of the day. I believe it was lap 5, around turn 4. Got a little bit loose, bam, right into the wall. And I'm saying this now because we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty much just the dominance of William Byron. He won the first 2 stages, and nothing really else happened. There was like a few cautions, like Brad Keselowski, he had a caution. Josh Berry had a caution, which involved Tyler Reddick, I believe. And then I guess we'll go near the end with Tyler Reddick. So he passes William Byron, even though people were saying William Byron had the best car of the day. I think it was just strategy. I don't think he really had the best car of the day, but that's just my opinion. And he passed him. He was leading. And all of a sudden, Ryan Blaney, I believe he was at 18th at one point when there was 25 to go, jumped all the way up to second place. Tyler Reddick hit into the wall. I believe it was turn 2. That kind of messed him up a little bit. And then I think he hit the wall again on turn 3, which made Blaney go right underneath Tyler Reddick. And Blaney takes the lead. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be down 2-1 here to Josh Edwards just because I picked Chris Buescher and he was nowhere to be found in the top 3 like I thought he was, because Fords usually do pretty well here and so do Chevys. Then all of a sudden, Kyle Larson, the same spot of the same different lap, but in the same turn 3, he's at least 156 laps down and goes into the same way, spins out, caution. Well, I believe 4 laps to go. Ryan Blaney had it in the bag. He was going to get the win. And NASCAR was pulling some strings and said, hey, listen, we don't want Ryan Blaney to win. Kyle Larson, get into that caution. Conspiracy theory? I'm not sure. But that made a way for the pits to go into overtime. Once overtime hit, Denny Hamlin went in, William Byron went in, Tyler Reddick went in, Ryan Blaney went in. Everyone that needed to go in went in for this pits to get into overtime. Denny Hamlin races out of pit lane, gets into the first position. I believe he moved up 4 spots. No, it was 2 spots because he was in 3rd before the overtime. Moves up 2 spots. And as soon as the restart hits, bam, he blasts off like he was in a cannon. Boom, took it over, won the race over William Byron, who finished 2nd, even though he, again, led the most laps today, won the first 2 stages. As you can tell, the top 10 down here, Seabell is right there. Tyler Reddick was in 4th. I believe Tyler Reddick was 2nd or 3rd off that restart, meant to be 4th. My guy, Chris Buescher, was in 6th. And then you don't see Ryan Blaney again, but I think Ryan Blaney got duped here. That's just me. That's just how I see it. But before we go any further, make sure you guys like, subscribe, Variety Sports Network on YouTube. It's going specifically on YouTube. All of the shows are going to be on there. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you need to do for this show to be successful. So the Lady in Black, oh man, we got a few things that, it didn't happen, but we can go. I think there's 2 races that everyone should watch here. And that's going to be the 2003 Darlington. This one with Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. If you don't know where it is, you need to find it because this is a really good race. I'm gonna pull it up right here. I don't know why my computer's being a little extra, so I apologize for that. So great race here. If anyone can find it, watch this one, 03. Unlikely hero to happen there. Ricky Craven. That was a great Darlington. Dale Jr. led a lot of those races. We'll talk about Dale Jr. a little bit. And then this one, too, was insane. Cale Yarborough goes over the wall at Darlington. There he is right there. Boop, gone. 1965 Darlington. Insane. Over the wall. Thank God those don't happen nowadays, but just interesting to see that used to happen in Darlington. But yeah, I would definitely check out those two Darlingtons. Those are probably one of the best ones that I've seen. So I also been seeing too, what's been going down is the throwback schemes. Obviously, everybody likes the throwback schemes. Us as fans love the throwback schemes. But Chase Elliott said they're getting kind of bland. They're getting kind of boring. That in a few years, they're going to be looking at a throwback scheme from 2018, from when Chase Elliott was there with the 9 car. I have no problem with the throwbacks. The only problem I have is the numbers. Why are you not putting the numbers where the doors are? They're putting them all the way near the front of the car and then putting all the sponsors where the door is and beyond. Why can't you just put the numbers right there at the door where it's supposed to be? That's the only thing I don't understand. And I think also too, I think what they should do is when they're going throwback schemes, maybe they should do throwback cars. Instead of doing the next gen 7 cars, maybe we can go back in time a little bit, maybe to the early 2000s, maybe even to the 80s. But we modify it to safety rules. Obviously, we can't just have regular cars out there like they used to, because obviously now, safety is a big thing. And maybe race like that, I think that would be interesting, especially if they're going to do throwback schemes at Darlington. That's just my opinion. I think that would be a pretty good move on their part. But, what do I know? I'm just a fan. I've been watching it for 20 years. But anyways, so, yep, Denny Hamlin has 2 Cup Series wins here, back to back. Obviously, maybe NASCAR is trying to do something because they're trying to get on his good side with that 2311 lawsuit. I don't know too much about it, but all I know is that they're still going on with it. So maybe they're trying to make Denny Hamlin feel appreciated by helping him out here, because there's no way Kyle Larson is 156 laps back should have gotten that caution in the same spot to pretty much end the race and go into overtime, and then Denny Hamlin magically gets the win. So that is interesting. I don't really understand that at all. But so for as far as I know right now, for the wins, William Byron has 1 win. Denny Hamlin obviously has 2. Seabell has 3. And Kyle Larson has the 1 win. So far right now, Denny Hamlin is in second right now. If we're going to talk about the standings for wins, if we're going to call like that, Seabell still has 3. So pretty much those guys are all locked in for the playoffs. So it is what it is. But now we're going to go into a little thing. Hence why it says Dale Jr. is the 8. So is Dale Jr. the wrong 8 though? So earlier, well, I guess at the end of the week, if you want to say Friday, Lamar Jackson thinks that he owns the right to the number 8 trademark. As far as I remember, Lamar Jackson has never seen the Super Bowl, but Dale Jr. has with the number 8 car. And as far as I know, Lamar Jackson's never won Daytona 500 or Talladega, which coincidentally, on this day in history, Dale Jr. won Talladega, which made it three straight Talladega wins from 01 to 03. So, I mean, I didn't realize Dale Jr. was the wrong 8. And I actually don't mind what JRM Motorsports put out there on Friday night, saying that they'll just stick with the DEIA. I actually think the DEIA looks a little bit better than the 8 that they have for JRM Motorsports, which they've been using since 2019. So I have no problem with that. But Lamar Jackson, I mean, if you're going to say Dale Jr. has the wrong 8, then you should be going after Troy Aikman, Steve Young. I mean, who else are you going to go after that has the number 8? You know what I mean? So it's just silly. I just wanted to put that out there that if Dale Jr. is the wrong 8, I don't think so. Dale Jr. is the 8 car, but I do like that he is keeping the DEI 8, which he should because he won that off Teresa Earnhardt, I believe last year for those trademarks. So before we end the show, it's just going to be a quick one because nothing really happened today. Again, it was just the William Byron show for 254 laps. And then obviously the biggest one was the Kyle Larson getting hit off at turn 3 again, which created that caution with 4 laps left to go into overtime. So before we do that again, make sure you like, subscribe, the Variety Sports Network on YouTube. We're not just the only show on there. There's also the 7th inning stretch. Talking the Gridiron should be coming back when football season starts. We have the fast break if you're into NBA/college basketball. And we have the 5-hole for some hockey. So make sure you guys go like, subscribe, comment on all the videos. We answer them all on the Variety Sports Network on YouTube. We'll also be posting it on the Twitter page for Variety Sports Network and just tagging it. So if you want to follow there too to get information that you need for times and when we're going to go on, it'd be greatly appreciated. So my final thoughts for the day. Definitely think, like I said earlier in the pod, I think they should go, if they're going to do the throwback schemes, which everybody loves. I have no problem with that. I obviously have the Tony Stewart when he did the Bobby Allison 14 back in the day. I think they should try to put the numbers where the doors are instead of more or less in the front. I guess near the front bumper. They should put it right where the door is instead of mostly having sponsors. And maybe for some throwbacks, try to go back and using some of the old school cars. I think that would be really cool too. I think the fans would enjoy it very much. And also too, I have a big final thought, which I should have said last week, but it's still relevant today as we're talking about cars. I think NASCAR needs to make the younger generation and the generation coming up to actually work on these cars. I feel like the younger generation doesn't really work on the cars, doesn't know anything about their cars. They think they can just wreck it. It's fine. I'm just going to get another one. I think they need to go through that process where they need to know everything they need to about the cars and go from there. I feel like there's going to be less wreckages. I feel like we won't see the Carson Hosefars of the world who can't be a good racer. They just, when things get tough, they just hit and then quit, if that makes sense. No pun intended. But also too for Sammy Smith, he has a Dale Jr. car, and Dale Jr. learned everything he needed to know when he was at RCR with his dad when he was a kid, even a teenager, and learned everything he needed to about cars. I feel like the younger generation needs to do this and would probably make racing a little bit better. And also too, I think the next gen 7 cars are just not that good. I feel like every driver needs to have their own type of car to make it more interesting, because a big thing too that I'm seeing is there's not a lot of passing, which is why there's more accidents and more cautions, which I guess people really want. Cautions. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, put in the comments. I don't mind being wrong, but I just think that they need to do something about it. I think if drivers have their own style of cars and the way they fix them and modify them, I think it's going to make racing just the way it was back in the day. And who knows, maybe it'll make the younger generation think, oh, wow, maybe I really need to do this. So that's all I got today. Obviously, it was pretty much not that great of a race. Obviously, you can see the top 10 here. Denny Hamlin won, Byron, Seabell, Tyler Reddick, who actually had a shot, but didn't happen. Ryan Blaney 5, Chris Buescher 6. So Josh Edwards kind of beat me here because Ryan Blaney did finish 5th and Chris Buescher 6th, but I'm still 2-0, so I will take those victories. Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain 7, Chase Elliott 8th, Ty Gibbs 9. Great race for Ty Gibbs being in a top 10 position, because we all know how he hasn't been doing too well. And Kyle Busch at 10. So that's going to be it for me today. I am Aaron, the cast man, and this has been The Next Left Turn. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.